the last day of deer season. Frank Woodruff's breath formed thick clouds in the pre-dawn November air as he parked his F-150 at the edge of the Superior National Forest. The forecast had promised clear skies, but the heavy clouds hanging over the birch and pine trees suggested otherwise. He'd been hunting these woods north of Duluth for 20 years, but something felt different today. He grabbed his Remington from behind the seat and checked his blaze orange vest pockets one last time. Compass, hunting license, grunt call, and the new prescription bottle his doctor had insisted on. Take as needed for anxiety. Frank hadn't touched them yet. Real hunters didn't need pills. The woods were unnaturally quiet. No chickadees, no squirrels, not even the usual wind through the pines. Only the crunch of his boots on frozen leaves broke the silence. He checked his compass, then double-checked it, frowning. The needle seemed to waver, like it couldn't quite make up its mind which way was north. 2 hours in, Frank spotted fresh tracks, a good-sized buck. He moved carefully through a stand of paper birch, their white bark peeling like bandages from wounds. That's when he noticed the first strange marking, 3 parallel lines carved chest-high into a trunk. Could be from a bear, he thought, but something about the precision made his neck prickle. Movement flickered in his peripheral vision. Frank spun, rifle ready, but saw only branches swaying in a wind he couldn't feel. He took a deep breath, trying to shake off the unease. The pills pressed against his chest through his vest pocket. The track led him deeper into the forest, past more marked trees. The cuts looked fresher now, the exposed wood still light-colored. Had these been here when he passed through? He couldn't remember. Frank pulled out his phone to check his GPS location. No signal. Funny, he usually got at least 1 bar out here. A whisper of sound made him freeze. Like someone talking, but too far away to make out the words. Or maybe it was just the wind. The fog was rolling in now, thick and unseasonable, turning familiar landmarks into looming shadows. His trail markers were wrong. Frank was sure he'd tied his orange surveyor's tape going east, but now they seemed to lead north. Or was it west? The compass was spinning lazily, useless. He found himself studying his own boot prints, uncertain which direction they pointed. The whispers grew closer. Frank's hand crept to his vest pocket, fingers brushing the pill bottle. No. He didn't need them. He wasn't crazy. Someone was out here, following him, moving his markers, playing tricks. Had to be those kids from the reservation, maybe, or those strange guys he'd seen at the gas station that morning. The fog thickened until he could barely see 20 yards ahead. Sweat froze on his back despite the cold. Another sound, the snap of a branch, too heavy to be a squirrel. Frank raised his rifle, turning slowly. There, a shadow darker than the rest. Moving, the distinctive profile of antlers against the white fog. His hands were steady as he brought the rifle up, years of muscle memory taking over. The sight picture settled just behind the shoulder, right where the heart would be. Frank squeezed the trigger. The report echoed through the trees, scattering a handful of crows that exploded into the air like black confetti. The shadow crumpled. Pride and relief flooded through him. He'd done it, gotten his buck despite everything. Then the fog parted. The blaze orange vest was startlingly bright against the brown leaves. The antlers resolved into broken branches on the ground behind where the other hunter had been standing. A pool of red spread slowly across the frozen ground. Frank's rifle clattered to the forest floor. He fumbled for his phone with numb fingers, forgetting about the lack of signal. The pill bottle fell from his vest pocket, spilling white tablets across the crimson-stained leaves. Above him, through the bare branches, fat snowflakes began to fall, erasing his tracks and mixing with the fog until he couldn't tell earth from sky, past from present, what was real from what was imagined. Only the growing red stain anchored him to the moment, to the truth of what he'd done on this last day of deer season in the Minnesota woods.